Flipping bricks that we still working. Some of the guys say you still perfect. Don't believe it, you still worth it. You'd probably kill us if you could. Christ said that you would. That's why we come to the hood. God said that we could. Wherever my boots hit the ground, pull up and it's going down. They think we the Q's some clowns, but purple for king with the crowns. Come to your city, your town, your country, we bringing it out. Astonish and make them say wow. The kingdom, we bringing it now. The Savior's been sitting on Zion. Proverbs 6:23, cut the light on. Satan, that's like he a python. But anacondas and black mamas on my block though. They want us to stop, no. Luke 14:23. Could give a damn if you hating me. Yo.
Hey, him that rebuking the gate. I see the looks on their face, but I can't be dismayed. God sent me on a mission to show Jacob that he's sinning, to teach Israel repentance, and we don't care if they don't feel it. Hey, him that rebuking the gate. I see the looks on their face, but I can't be dismayed. God sent me on a mission to show Jacob that he's sinning, to teach Israel repentance, and we don't care if they don't feel it. Hey,
this ain't a hate competition. We gonna stay on the mission. We teach the wisdom that's gonna cause a schism and gonna break the system. They claim that we preach anti-Semitism. They don't really care if it is or isn't. It is clear that we are the sons of Shem aboard a sunken ship. They gonna drown up in it. But they claim that that's hate. Prophecy coming, I can't wait. Stay awake. This is the great race. To find fate is aiming for the straight gate. Lucky they uppity cause they see we all in a base state. All 12 gates name. Watch them get shot. Put world record to the Great Lake. I always see all the lies they fabricate. Always think on the evils they meditate. What they hate is we something can't recreate, but I doubt they can even compare the way. Always seeing them riding our wave, AI wave. We causing a mayday when they vacate the open floodgates. Hey, I'm sliding on home plate, but they think this is where the hater isn't up for debate. Opposition gon' rotate. Can I say that their opinion won't make a break? As a result, leave them shot like a circuit breaker, like when Moses had lifted the serpent save us. It's the difference between Cain and Abel. When Christ come, that's when they time come. But they stay pushing that.
Hey, him that rebuking the gate. I see the looks on their face, but I can't be dismayed. God sent me on a mission to show Jacob that he's sinning, to teach Israel repentance, and we don't care if they don't feel it. Hey, him that rebuking the gate. I see the looks on their face, but I can't be dismayed. God sent me on a mission to show Jacob that he's sinning, to teach Israel repentance, and we don't care if they don't feel it.
Hey, prophets coming, you should make weight. Exceeding army looking great. Back again, oh, you thought we were wait. We've been fishing, this a little bait. Takes cake, swinging heavy, but the gate's straight. Niggas claiming they gorilla with it, but the monkey business been on great. Heavy armor haters cooking better breastplate. Wait, how the hell they gon' make hate? We've been moving like freight trains. They been moving like it's a line in a wait. They been eyeing us for wait. In the back, it look like they tryna play it safe. It look like they tryna play the fence. We been out here trying to make the gate, so we been hyperbolic chamber training, sending God and Satan. You can't hang unless it's with Haman. You can do all of that hating, but it's more to cause than a little blood on his raiment. When every step is bound to shuffle the pavement. Airy shouters with the power of the living God. Sunrise, splitting skies. This a little more than you bargain for, ain't it? They got that feeling in their chest, hey, but it's checkmate. The way Bishop slide, ain't no escape. To the rookies, time to let the vets play. You been looking for us, it's a neck breaker, but you stuck and you can only spectate. Hey, watching as we make a fresh slate, doing everything that the flesh can't. It's a reason that they feel it.
Hey, him that rebuking the gate. I see the looks on their face, but I can't be dismayed. God sent me on a mission to show Jacob that he's sinning, to teach Israel repentance, and we don't care if they don't feel it. Hey, him that rebuking the gate. I see the looks on their face, but I can't be dismayed. God sent me on a mission to show Jacob that he's sinning, to teach Israel repentance, and we don't care if they don't feel it. Hey, skirt, how about? Let them hear what we talking about. Then I go in the Bible and show them their sins, and now they like, watch out. Like, who the hell told y'all to come round? Now they want the camp shut down. Hey, that's why we come with 100-man camp, leave a stamp, let them know we ain't playing around. But they refuse to hearken. Hey, they pull away the shoulder. They love us when we cooning and rolling up the doja. Hey, but we the men of God come to wake you up. This gospel folks. Hey, to wake you out your coma. Hey, Now you can smell the aroma. Hey, that's a stench of death. Speak up rightly, now they hate me. But praise men for marching in the streets. This prophecy and say what it say. My people evil, so full of hate. Wanna leave us dead on the floor. I guess Black Lives Matter went out the door. The world hate me, you know it hated Christ. Precept, but now they spirit slice. Scriptures cut and now they spirit dice. Blood touching blood. Now I feel like Zacharias, all righteous Abel trying to serve the highest. But Cain wanna slay me with extreme hatred. Can't see that we trying to save me. That's why they hate. Hey, him that rebuking the gate. I see the looks on their face, but I can't be dismayed. God sent me on a mission to show Jacob that he's sinning, to teach Israel repentance. And we don't care if they don't feel it. Hey, him that rebuking the gate. I see the looks on their face, but I can't be dismayed. God sent me on a mission to show Jacob that he's sinning, to teach Israel repentance. And we don't care if they don't feel it. Hey.
Hey, shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Thank God it's Friday. Happy
praises.
Prep Day, everybody. Today you got Iuic Arkansas holding down the 4 chapters. You got myself, Officer Emmanuel.
Soji Ezekiel.
And today we will be covering Deuteronomy chapters 31 through 34. Now, you know, one of the most monumental chapters, you know, as far as identifying who we are today, tribe for tribe. Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. We already went through Genesis 49, Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26. Now, today we're going to cover Deuteronomy 33. With that being said, we're going to have to kind of zoom through chapter 31 because 32 heavy too.
True.
32 heavy too. So, Lord's willing, we make it through all this before Deke come on with the Bible, the book of our fathers. So without further ado, let's begin. Deuteronomy 31, verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31 and verse 1. And Moses went and spake these words unto all Israel. And he said unto them, I am 120 years old this day. I can no more go out and come in. Also the Lord hath said unto me, thou shalt not go over this Jordan.
So as we went over before, Moses, you know, after he was provoked by the people, you know, he pissed the Lord off. You know, he didn't sanctify the Lord before the children of Israel out of his anger. So the Lord told him, you ain't going to go into the promised land. So the Lord is letting him go up on this mountain to take a look at the promised land, you know what I'm saying, but he's not going to be able to enter into it. So before, you know, he gives his farewell or whatever, you have chapters 31, 32, 33, in which he giving the children of Israel prophecy of what will happen and all of that. So we're going to dig in all that today. That is what the chapters that we're going to read today are going into. All right, read on.
Verse 3. The Lord thy God, he will go over before thee, and he will destroy these nations from before thee, and thou shalt possess them. And Joshua, he shall go over before thee, as the Lord hath said. And the Lord shall do unto them as he did to Sihon and to Og, king of the Amorites, and unto the land of them whom he destroyed. And the Lord shall give them up before your face, that ye may do unto them according unto all the commandments which I have commanded you.
Read.
Be strong and of a good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them. For the Lord thy God, he it is that doth go with thee. He will not fail thee nor forsake thee.
Right, so Moses let them know, look, Joshua going to take y'all into the land. When y'all get into the land, make sure y'all follow the guidelines that was given to y'all in Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter. Don't take their wives unto you. Don't take their sons unto you for husbands. Don't worship their gods, but utterly burn their gods with fire, so on and so on. Don't be afraid of them. All of that. Read on.
And Moses called unto Joshua, and said unto him in the sight of all Israel, be strong and of a good courage, for thou must go with this people unto the land which the Lord hath sworn unto their fathers to give them, and thou shalt cause them to inherit it. And the Lord, he it is that doth go before thee. He will be with thee. He will not fail thee, neither forsake thee. Fear not, neither be dismayed. And Moses wrote this law and delivered it unto the priests, the sons of Levi, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord. and unto all the elders of Israel. And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the solemnity of the year of release, in the feast of tabernacles, when all Israel is come to appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read this law before all Israel in their hearing. Gather the people together, men and women and children, and thy stranger that is within thy gates, that they may hear, and that they may learn, and fear the Lord your God, and observe to do all the words of this law.
Hey, that's a cold precept for this Zephaniah. Gather together, gather the people together, men, women, and children, that they may learn and fear the Lord your God, and observe to do all the words of this law. So the stuff that Moses finna lay on them, he say, look, you're going to have to teach this every 7 years to remind the people what will befall them, what they need to do to avoid this and that, so on and so forth, so they can fear the Lord your God. Read on.
And that their children, which have not known anything, may hear and learn to fear the Lord your God, as long as ye live in the land, whether ye go over Jordan to possess it.
Right, that their children which have not known anything may learn to fear the Lord your God. Meaning they need to be the principle, the first thing
Morals.
that your children understand is how to fear the Lord your God. All right? Not Bob the Builder.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What's some more cartoons?
Elmo.
Elmo, whatever.
Right.
The first thing you need to establish with your children, before they know anything else,
Right.
they need to know who they are and who their God is. Read on.
Verse 14. And the Lord said unto Moses, behold, thy days approach that thou must die. Call Joshua and present yourselves in the tabernacle of the congregation, that I may give him a charge. And Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves in the tabernacle of the congregation. And the Lord appeared in the tabernacle in a pillar of a cloud. And the pillar of the cloud stood over the door of the tabernacle.
Read.
And the Lord said unto Moses, behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and this people will rise up and go a-whoring after the gods of the strangers of the land, whither they go to be among them, and will forsake me, and break my covenant which I have made with them.
So the Lord tell Moses straight up, like, look, when you die, after you gone, these people gonna go to hell off. These people that you spent 40 years tending to and trying to get them to do the right thing, when you drop dead, Moses, they are going to do the wrong thing. The land that I bring them into to inherit, guess what they gonna do? Instead of utterly destroy all the nations and destroy their gods, they gonna mingle with the nations and want to serve their gods. Read on.
Verse 17. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured, and many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, are not these evils come upon us, because our God is not among us?
So God said after they go into the land, mingle with the nations, serve other gods, evils and troubles shall befall them. We just read about all of them in the last 4 chapters a day.
Right.
Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Watch this. Read on.
And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evils which they shall have wrought. In that they are turned unto other gods.
So God said he going to hide his face. You wonder where the Lord was at when they was using our babies as alligator bait, when they had us packed up on a ship like sardines, defecating on each other, vomiting on one another. You know what I'm saying? When we getting hung, burnt up in front of our children, raped in front of everybody. Where was the Lord? His face was here from you, because when he was with you, when he was trying to dwell amongst you, you wanted to go a-whoring and serve other guys. So he said, hey, I'm going to leave you in the hands of the people that hate you,
Right.
and I'm going to hide my face. Read on.
Now therefore write ye this song for you, and teach it the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel.
Right, so this was a song. You know, we read it as, chapters and all of that, but it was really bars.
Right.
You know what I mean? When we finna read and break down this prophecy, When Israel first heard it, it was bars. You know what I'm saying? For you, you know how when something's in the form of a song, you can easily remember it, retain it. God said, put it in the form of a song so they can retain this thing. Read on.
For when I shall have brought them into the land which I swear unto their fathers, that floweth with milk and honey, that they shall have eaten and filled themselves and waxen fat, then will they turn unto other gods and serve them and provoke me and break my covenant. And it shall come to pass, when many evils and troubles are befallen them, that this song shall testify against them as a witness. For it shall not be forgotten out of the mouths of their seed. For I know their imagination, which they go about, even now, before I have brought them into the land which I swear.
God said, I already know what they're going to do when they get there. I already know. They're imagining how they going to forsake me, how they going to turn up with the Africans. It's already in their mind. They finna party. Let's all serve idols. That's what they gonna do. Read on.
Moses therefore wrote this song the same day and taught it the children of Israel. And he gave Joshua the son of Nun a charge and said, be strong and of a good courage, for thou shalt bring the children of Israel into the land which I swear unto them, and I will be with thee. And it came to pass, when Moses had made an end of writing the words of this law in a book until they were finished, that Moses commanded the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, saying, take this book of the law and put it in the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, that it may be there for a witness against thee. For I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck.
What did Moses say?
I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck.
Moses said, I know your rebellion and your stiff neck. If anybody know, Moses know.
Right.
Matter of fact, let's get there real quick. Go to Exodus 32 real quick in verse 9. You know, something that we went over a 4 times, but this is something that the Lord straight up told him. The Lord said, look, I have seen for myself what type of people this is you're dealing with. Watch that, read that.
Exodus chapter 32 and verse 9. And the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people.
The Lord said, yeah, I have seen this people, and they are indeed stiff-necked. So, you know, like a stiff neck, that means you tell somebody to do something, and they, no. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. Don't serve other gods. No. You know what I'm saying? Thou shalt not commit adultery. You know what I'm saying? That's the spirit that Israel had on them, even after judgments, after miracles. You know what I'm saying? After harsh, consequences, they still remain stiff-necked. Watch this. Go to Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 3. Captain Shemaiah had went over this in this Daily Bread the other day. You know what I'm saying? How, the stuff that Moses went through is funny because he was like, as a leader, sometimes he feel like he be at the spirit, dealing with issues in the congregation. He'd be like, feeling bad. He was wondering, like, do I be at the spirit for feeling like this? Let's see, Hebrews chapter 3, verse 16.
The book of Hebrews chapter 3 and verse 16.
Come on.
For some, when they had heard, did provoke. Howbeit not all that came out of Egypt by Moses.
Come on.
But with whom was he grieved 40 years?
Was he grieved how long?
40 years.
So all 40 years, Moses was leading the Israelites in the wilderness. He was grieved. Every day it was some. It was some type of issues, some type of drama, some type of hell that the children of Israel was raising. 40 years he was grieved with the Israelites. So, us in our little congregations with, 40, maybe 80, maybe, 400, maybe 500 people, we think that we grieve. We think that Moses had to deal with thousands upon thousands, all 12 tribes.
Right.
We just get a headache dealing with Judah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Moses had to deal with all 12 tribes of spirits of rebelliousness and stiff-neckedness. You know what I'm saying? He was grieved because that's the level of rebellion that they had from there. Go to Numbers 11 and 11. Just to get, a past account of Moses expressing his grief caused by the children of Israel. Numbers, and this is heavy for y'all to self-examine. That's why classes on the wilderness be so heavy. You know what I'm saying? Because we going into the wilderness again.
Right.
But this time, you know what I'm saying? You ain't missing out on the promised land. You missing out on eternal life. So we got to examine these spirits and the things that we did back then and make sure we do not make this. That's what the book of Hebrews is all about. Especially chapters 1 through 4, 1 through 5. That's what we were just reading in Hebrews 3. Paul was breaking it down. He was like, don't be like your fathers was in the wilderness. All right, in 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. But read that, Numbers 11 and 11.
The book of Numbers, chapter 11 and verse 11.
So in this chapter in particular, Israel was complaining. Remember, mind you, they got delivered out of Egypt. The Most High done did many wonderful works and all of that, fed them and all of that. But as soon as they go through an itsy-bitsy trial, they complain. Moses couldn't understand. He like, y'all didn't see all that he did for y'all, and when y'all got hungry in the wilderness of sin, or you know what I'm saying, or thirsty, what did the Lord do? How come every time this happened, the same spirit pops up? Haven't y'all grew to learn that the Lord will provide? But hey, that's why he was grieved. Watch this. Read what you got.
And Moses said unto the Lord, wherefore hast thou afflicted thy servant?
So this is Moses speaking to the Lord. He say, why have you afflicted your servant? He like, what have I done out of the 80 years of my life for you to judge me by putting me in charge of this rebellious and stiff-necked people? He looked at it like a judgment. God, it's something that I did to deserve this. That was bad. Read on.
And wherefore have I not found favor in thy sight, that thou layest the burden of all this people upon me?
So Israel became a burden to Moses. Read on.
Have I conceived all this people?
Did I get pregnant and give birth to all these people? Read on.
Have I begotten them, that thou shouldest say unto me, carry them in thy bosom, as a nursing father beareth the sucking child, unto the land which thou swearest unto their fathers?
Right. Did I give birth to them or something in the spirit for you to put the responsibility of carrying them like a daddy carry his son along the way to the promised land? Read on.
Whence should I have flesh to give unto all this people?
Right. They steadily complaining about food and all this and that, like I just got food growing out my pockets. You know what I'm saying? I don't got flesh to feed all these people. Read on.
For they weep unto me, saying, give us flesh that we may eat.
Read.
I am not able to bear all this people alone, because it is too heavy for me.
It's too heavy for me, man. These people, they really make it hard for somebody to be a leader unto them. A father figure. They make it very hard. Read on.
And if thou deal thus with me, kill me.
What did Moses tell the Lord?
If thou deal thus with me, kill me.
If I got a deal with these stiff-necked rebellious children by myself in charge, Lord, just take me out. Take me out. Cause me to give up the ghost. Read on.
Kill me, I pray thee, out of hand, if I have found favor in thy sight.
Read.
And let me not see my wretchedness.
Let me not see my wretchedness, because after so long, Lord, I'm telling you right now, these people going to make me get real wretched. They going to make me stoop down to that. Lord, I'm just going to kill me, because they going to drive me insane. That's the grief that Moses had dealing with this rebellious, stiff-necked people. Let's go back. Deuteronomy 31:27.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31 and verse 27. For I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck. Behold, I am yet alive with you this day. Ye have been rebellious against the Lord.
So while I'm alive with you, you know what I'm saying? Now me, I speak with the Lord directly. You know what I'm saying? I got the power to do miracles and all this and that. And while I'm with you, you rebellious. Read on.
And how much more after my death?
So how much more y'all gonna be rebellious after I die. Read on.
Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to record against
And
them.
call heaven and earth to record against. Bring all your leaders. I'm gonna bring heaven and earth to record against them. Read.
For I know that after my death ye will utterly corrupt yourselves, and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you. And evil will befall you in the latter days.
In the wind?
In the latter days.
In the wind?
In the latter days.
But this heavy right here.
Right.
This is deep. That's why Deacon Malachi said what he said. I ain't even gonna repeat what he said. But anyway.
In Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Moses said, evil shall befall you. The people he's speaking to in the latter days. Meaning the last days. Finish that verse.
Because ye will do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands.
Now hold that. Let's go to 2 Ezra 14:3. How in the hell did Moses know what was going to happen to the rebellious Israelites in the latter days? How did he know? So what we finna read is very pivotal in understanding the chapters that we finna read. 32, 33, all of that is prophecy that's still unfolding to this very day. A lot of the prophecy of which became history later in time. How did Moses know all that to write all that down? Let's see. Read what you got.
2 Esdras chapter 14 and verse 3.
Come on.
Then said he unto me, in the bush I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moses,
Read.
and talked with him when my people served in Egypt.
Read.
And I sent him and led my people out of Egypt, and brought him up to the mount of Sinai, where I held him by me a long season,
40 days, 40 nights. Read.
and told him many wondrous things,
No, I just told him just 10 commandments. That was it.
and told him many wondrous things,
Uh-huh.
and showed him the secrets of the time,
Damn, I thought it was just 10 commandments.
and showed him the secrets of the time.
So God showed Moses the secrets of the time. How you think Moses, you know what they call the Torah, the books of Moses?
Right.
That includes Genesis. Moses wasn't alive yet.
Right.
How was Moses able to write the book of Genesis? Because the Lord showed him the secrets of the times. Read on.
And the end.
In the what?
And the end.
And the latter days. How do you think? You got to think, bro. When we read Deuteronomy 28:68, you know how we got to go to the precept to show us Egypt and all of that.
Right.
What Moses saw, he saw the United States of America.
Yes.
He saw, us getting off the slave ship, picking cotton. He saw all of that. But, it was a reflection of what we had already done in Egypt. That's why he said, the Lord going to send y'all into Egypt again.
Right.
What y'all just left from doing is going to happen. Y'all going to go into that again. But this time it's going to be via slave ships. Read on.
And commanded him, saying,
All right,
these,
that's it. Now go back. Deuteronomy chapter 31. So the Lord showed Moses the secrets of the time and the very end. That's why all these prophecies that we finna read in chapters 32 and 33, hey, Moses was able to write them. Guess what? They still coming to pass to this very day.
Right.
This is stuff that unfolded, in the 14, 15, 1600s and all of that. All right? They just show you the power of the Lord. For real, read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 31 and verse 30.
Come on.
And Moses spake in the ears of all the congregation of Israel the words of this song until they were ended.
All right.
Chapter 32 and verse 1. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak. And hear, O earth, the words of my mouth.
Read.
My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass.
Read.
Because I will publish the name of the Lord. Ascribe ye greatness unto our God.
Hey, I like how them precepts run together. It say, my doctrine shall drop as the rain. And you jump to 3, it says, because I will publish the name of the Lord. So doctrine, name. Anyway,
Right.
read on.
Verse 4. He is the rock. His work is perfect, For all his ways are judgment, a God of truth and without iniquity. Just and right is he.
Read.
They have corrupted themselves.
So now, he gave his praise to the Most High, to the Lord. He said, now he going into where he just, pronounced what would happen when Israel would corrupt themselves. Read that verse again, verse 5.
They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children.
Right, we not acting. Remember, God said he planted us a noble vine, and we became a degenerate plant. That ain't what God made us to be. What you see females talking about WAP.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? Dudes talking about bang, bang, shoot up. God ain't make us to be like that.
Not at all.
That is not the spot that he gave us. Read on.
They are a perverse and crooked generation.
God said we are perverse and crooked generation. Read.
Do ye thus requite the Lord, O foolish people and unwise?
So this is how you repay the magnificent Lord that delivered you, that murdered babies, a nation of babies for your sake. You know what I'm saying? Destroyed all these nations just so you can inhabit their land. This is how you repay that magnificent Lord of yours. Read on.
Is not he thy father that hath brought thee, that hath he not made thee and established thee?
Right, so hold that. Let's go to Isaiah 63 and verse 7, just to show how we repay the Lord for his tender mercies, loving kindness, saving us for his name's sake, for his promise sake that he made to our forefathers. It wasn't nothing that we did to deserve to be delivered to this day. But, this is how we repay that mercy and grace of the Lord. Read what you got.
Isaiah chapter 63 and verse 7.
Come on.
I will mention the loving kindness of the Lord and the praises of the Lord,
Read.
according to all that the Lord hath bestowed on us, and the great goodness toward the house of Israel.
And the great goodness toward who?
The house of Israel.
Read.
Which he hath bestowed on them according to his mercies and according to his multitude of his loving kindness. For he said, surely they are my people, children that will not lie.
So God said, surely this people that I made with such great melanin and, you know what I'm saying, godly ability and talent and intelligence and, surely these are children that will not lie. That would not say that they came from Kemet. That would not say that their God is a white man. Surely these are children that would not go that far off. Surely. Read on.
So he was their savior.
So he was what?
Their savior.
So God was our savior. Read on.
In all their affliction, he was afflicted.
So God said whenever we was being afflicted, you know how you feel that mutual pain?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whenever he saw us going through atrocities or whatever, he took it like he was suffering with us. Read on.
And the angel of his presence saved them.
Read.
In his love and in his pity, he redeemed them.
In his love and his pity, he redeemed us. Read.
And he bare them and carried them all the days of old.
And carried us all the days of old. Let's see how we repaid all this kindness and love. Read.
Verse 10. But they rebelled.
But we what?
They rebelled.
That's why Moses said, I know y'all. He put a possessive pronoun before rebellion. He didn't say, I know rebellion in general. I know your rebellion. The way y'all rebel is it don't make no damn sense. It's not, it's not easy to comprehend. Y'all have that Lord that did X, Y, Z, and the creator of the heavens and earth, he only chose y'all. But y'all rebellion is something else. It said we did what?
But they rebelled and vexed his Holy Spirit.
And vexed his Holy Spirit. That's Acts 70:51. We did always resist the Holy Ghost. Read.
Therefore, he was turned to be their enemy, and he fought against them.
So the Lord ain't had no choice but to turn against us, because that's how we repaid him, with rebellion, with vexation, by not keeping his commandments. Let's go back. Deuteronomy 32, verse 7.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7. Remember the days of old.
Do what?
Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee.
Right, so this is one of the verses that, I guess I could say is slept on. I love this verse because it's heavy to me. And maybe it's just the way I read it. I don't know. But he said, remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Like, before you learned this truth, right?
Right.
Did you know who you were before 1619?
Not at all.
Did you know the many generations of marvelous acts where you could find your forefathers, timeline of events?
Not at all.
No, but guess who showed you? He said, ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee. So remember, he talking to them there.
Right.
It's heavy, right? You don't really know who out there teaching on them corners.
Right.
You don't know who be on, Savage live stream bringing out these prophecies and breakdowns. These are the mighty men that we reading about in the Bible.
Right.
They the ones that Moses said was going to teach you these things. But hey, what do I know? Maybe that's just my interpretation. I don't know. Let's go to Job 8 and 8. Let's get some precepts for that verse. Job chapter 8, verse 8.
The book of Job, chapter 8 and verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age,
Read.
and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
Right. That's the only way that you can avoid making the same mistakes that your fathers did. See what they did wrong. See where they went off at. And do not the same thing.
Right.
Do not doubt the same thing. We have to prepare ourselves for the search of our fathers. Meaning we have to study. Once we get the true understanding of who we are, we got to dig into who we were.
Right.
It only makes sense. Go to Psalms chapter 44 and verse 1. Psalms chapter 44 and verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 44 and verse 1. We have heard with our ears, O God. Our fathers have told us what work thou didst in their days, in the times of old.
Right. So the only way our fathers can tell us what works we did is if we go in the scriptures.
Right.
And how should you understand that some man should guide you? But that's how you can see the work that your heavenly Father did in the times of old. So when we suffering things like persecution, when we going through trials and tribulations and things of that nature, we can go and meditate on the scriptures and how the Lord intervened and looked out and saved our forefathers. That's the beauty of having records written in the Bible, the same Bible that they're tamper with it.
Right.
You live your whole life based on a book.
Right.
Yeah, you damn right. It's better than living my life based on my imagination that was taught to me by the white man, television and radio. Yeah, you mean? So that's how we can see the works of the Lord, by going into this Bible. That's how you know when you read the Bible, you ain't supposed to read it like pages on a book. You supposed to read it like you done stepped into Cinemax.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you done stepped into a movie theater with 3D glasses on.
Popcorn.
That's how you supposed to read this Bible. That's how some brothers be able to break the scriptures down so powerfully. Yeah. Because it's down there like they showing you what's going on. Because that's how we supposed to read the Bible. From there, go to Romans 15 and 4. We all know this one. So this is Paul, saying the same thing that his forefather Moses did. Read what you got.
Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime.
You got to think, at this time, there was no New Testament. You know what I'm saying? So Paul is advising the Romans, which were the Israelites, of course, in Rome. But, he was advising them concerning the things written aforetime, meaning what? In Deuteronomy. Matter of fact, in the book of Romans, he did a lot of quote Moses in Romans 10, Romans 11. It's based on chapter 32, what we're going to read into. You know what I'm saying? But he always advised the churches to read the Bible. Read on.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Right, so we can learn what? How to love one another, how to love God, how to serve God, what to do in certain trials and tribulations, how to apply scriptures. That's how we learn how to do so, by going to the things written aforetime. Read.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have Christ. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 8. when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
But wait a minute. I thought God loved everybody. God want us to all come together and hold hands and no. What God is you talking about?
Right.
You talking about Cesar Board? You talking about the new God that we gonna bring up in verse 17?
Right.
That's what you talking about. Because the God of this Bible has since from day one has been a God of division. All right, he separated the sons of Adam according to wherever he had to place the children of Israel. Meaning what? This world revolves around us. Yes. Read on.
For the Lord's portion is his people.
The Lord's portion is his people. Read.
Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Right. So hold there. Let's go to Sirach 17:17. Let's get a precept real quick. Sirach 17:17.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 17 and verse 17. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people.
So in the division of the nations of the whole earth, in the divisions of the this is God's doing.
Right.
He is the author of division. He said in the divisions of the nations, he set a ruler over every people, meaning he gave every nation a ruler to look after. Not him. You know what I'm saying? Hey, here you go. Here, you deal with him. Here, Moab, you deal with Eglon. Ammon, you deal with, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But read on.
But Israel is the Lord's portion.
But I'm going to be Israel king. All right? Me and Israel, we got a thing going on. Y'all just do y'all things over here, over yonder. But me and Israel, that's my inheritance. Right. That's my portion. From there, go back to Deuteronomy 32, verse 10. So I love reading stuff like this because it showed a level of love that the Lord got for us. Right. The fact that you're still alive, that you're able to watch a live stream after all the wickedness you done via Facebook, right. The Lord allowing you to be on Facebook right now to get edified. You know what? You got to think of the manner of love that God bestowed upon us. Read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 10. He found him in a desert land and in the waste howling wilderness.
Read.
He led him about. He instructed him.
God led us about and instructed us. Read.
He kept him as the apple of his eye.
As the what?
As the apple of his eye.
It says that God kept us as the apple of his eye. You might have heard that phrase in the world. Like, right. This woman who I'm in love with, right. She's the apple of my eye. Or my firstborn son. That's the apple of my eye. We, the blacks, Hispanic, yes, the same people that the world called niggas, 3/5 of a man speaks. We are the apple of God's eye.
That's right.
Let's get another precept for this. Zechariah 2 and 6. Zechariah 2 and 6, then we're going to jump to 8.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 2 and verse 6. Ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. Read. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, saith the Lord.
Read.
Verse 7. Deliver thyself, O Zion.
Who is he speaking to?
Deliver thyself, O Zion.
So it's letting you know who was held captive in the land of the north, meaning North America. O Zion. We the only nation. Let's connect the dots now.
Right.
What other nation of people on this earth was held captive in North America besides the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? Nobody. Meaning, therefore, we are who? Zion. And we have to deliver ourselves from the ways that we've been taught in America. Read on.
Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon.
That dwelleth with Esau. When you read Psalms 137, 7-8, it shows you who the daughter of Babylon is. Your friendly neighborhood, hairy, stinky white man. Read on.
Verse 8, for thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you.
God said, them nations that touch you, that do harm to you, read on.
Toucheth the apple of his eye.
They don't know who they playing with.
Right.
Y'all the apple of my eye. You see what I'm saying? You know how somebody will be about their little sister? Like, better not blow one, you know what I'm saying? They better not touch mine. That's what God's saying about these nations. That's why it's going to be a big, grand payback when Christ returns. I'm telling you. Let's go back. Deuteronomy 32, verse 11.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 11. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, beareth them on her wings. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him.
Right. The Lord ain't used no rock or no wood or whatever to lead us out of the wilderness and protect us from the nations. He did that alone. Read on.
He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the fields. And he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock.
Come on.
Butter of kine, and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs, and rams of the bread of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape.
So this talking about the journey through the wilderness, how we went through all these nations and acquired all this wealth and free food, you know, the squirrels and all of that, right? So guess what happened after, you know, we made it through the wilderness into the promised land? This is something that Moses is seeing a fourth time. This is, well, did I say that right? This is something that Moses saw ahead of time.
Right.
Because remember, Moses didn't go into the promised land. So this is one of the secrets of the times that God showed Moses. Read.
Verse 15. But Jeshurun waxed fat.
Right, so Jeshurun, referring to Israel, waxed fat. Read on.
And kicked. Thou art waxen fat. Thou art grown thick. Thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God which made him.
Come on.
And lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation.
So it said that Jeshurun, with all that, all those resources and all of that that God provided to us, it said that we had waxed fat. Let's go to chapter 8 real quick to get some understanding on that. Is it saying that all the Israelites became overweight and we forsook God because he sent leadership to say burn the fat? Or what did it mean when it said we waxed fat? Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 12.
Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 12.
Come on.
Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly homes and dwelt therein.
Right, has built goodly houses and dwelt therein. So this is going into, once you enter into your land, lest ye be full, lest you are eating and are full. It ain't talking about a plate. It's talking about the land that you will acquire. Read on.
And when thy herds and thy flocks multiply,
Come on.
and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied.
Meaning you have exponential wealth that the Lord provided unto you. Read.
Then thine heart be lifted up.
Then your heart be what?
Be lifted up.
Read.
And thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage.
So that's how Jeshurun waxed fat and forsook the Lord and lightly esteemed our rock. We started to act like it was us. We got all this money. We was on a grind. You know what I'm saying? We made it happen.
Right.
No, it was God. But he said that's the type of Negroes we are. We are wax fat. We are, you know what I'm saying, get blessed and act like it wasn't a blessing from the Most High. Go back to Deuteronomy 32, verse 16.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger.
Read.
They sacrificed unto devils.
Unto who?
Unto devils.
Read.
Not to God. To gods whom they knew not.
To guys that in the wilderness, you didn't even know about these guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now, you know, thousands of years later, you know what I'm saying? We act as if we can subscribe to them like they were the creators of the heavens and the earth. When they was just now made up. What? Read on.
To new gods.
To who?
To new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not.
So what's some examples of that? Like, you know, the one that we pull this precept for all the time. Islam, right?
Right.
That came about in 622 AD. 600-some odd years after Jesus Christ. Muhammad came up with Allah in a religion, basically plagiarizing. Brothers must not be watching 4 chapters a day. They call it my phone. The hell is this? But anyway, so, you know, Allah and all that is a new God. Hell, Cedric Bourget.
Yep.
The white Jesus. That is a new thing under the sun. 1453. All right, Renaissance era. He was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. That is a new guy. Even Buddha. We think Buddha some ancient or whatever. Dude is new.
Right.
He just came on the scene between 6th and 4th century BC. You know, we had the kingdom already been split. You know, we done went captive into Babylon and all that before you ever heard of a damn Buddha. These is new guys that our people go crazy over today. God said that we would come to that estate. Read on.
Deuteronomy 32:18. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful.
But when it comes to the rock that created you, you unmindful. Read.
And hast forgotten God that formed thee.
So, hold that. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. About this rock that begat us, that made us. 1 Corinthians 10, verse 4.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4. And did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So that rock that begat Israel was Christ. Hold on, I thought Christ came 2,000 years after Moses.
I don't know.
Let's go to 2 Samuel real quick. 20. Hopefully this precept help y'all out. Because I thought God was the rock, but it's saying that Christ was the rock. All right, let's see. This is something that I fought for our spiritual prophets, you know what I'm saying, understood. 2 Samuel 22, verse 2.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 22 and verse 2.
Come on.
And he said, the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer.
So David said, the Lord is my rock. The Lord is my rock. Read on.
The God of my rock.
Wait. I thought the Lord was your rock. Now you're saying the God of my rock. That's just like when he said in Psalms 110:1, the Lord saith unto my Lord.
Right.
Because he already understood 1 Corinthians 11:3 before anybody else knew. You got God, Christ, then man. You have our rock, then you have the God of our rock, which is the Father. Let's go back. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 19. If it went over your head, then hey. All praise, just desire the sincere milk. That's how I like to say.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 19.
Come on.
And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith.
So speaking of Christ, you know, let's go into this verse right here in verse 21 in the context of, you know, more so him addressing Judah, because that's really what it's finna go into. Now, when Christ was on the scene, who rejected Christ?
The Jews.
Right, the scribes and the Pharisees, right? Of the southern kingdom. Right. So, them the ones, you know, in that context, was very froward. They didn't have no faith. They didn't believe that he was the Son of God. So, read on.
Verse 21. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities.
Read.
And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people.
So, since Israel, which, like I said, is really going into Judah, the southern kingdom, but it said Israel, they provoked me, so I will hide my face. They are very froward generation, children in whom is no faith. Just like Christ, he was saying, you generation of vipers, so on and so forth, right? God said, for that reason, since they wanted to do my son like that, I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. Now, you got Christians that'll close the book right there and say, see, it ain't just Israel no more. Israel moved God to jealousy. So, no. God want to move Israel to jealousy. So he welcomed all the other nations into the fold now. Read on.
I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation.
So let's get some preceptual understanding of who this people is that the Lord said, I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 7 and verse 8. Isaiah chapter 7 and verse 8. Remember this? Secrets of the times. I bet that was throwing Israel off like, huh? Them which are not a people. What is Moses talking about? Read what you got.
Isaiah chapter 7 and verse 8.
I knew he was on that mountain too long. Read.
For the head of Syria is Damascus.
Read.
And the head of Damascus is Rezin.
Uh-huh.
And within 65 years
Within 65 years of me telling you this, Isaiah, read.
shall Ephraim be broken, that is it be not a people.
Now, Ephraim is one of the tribes of Israel. Matter of fact, it was the head over 10 tribes
Right.
of the children of Israel. God said Ephraim is going to be broken, that it be not a people. From there, let's go to Hosea chapter 1, verse 9. Let's get some more of that. Let's get some more on that. Hosea chapter 1, verse 9.
Hosea chapter 1 and verse 9.
Come on.
Then said God, call his name Lo-Ami.
Read.
Are ye not my people? For ye are not my people.
For ye are not my people. Who is he talking to in this chapter? Israel, the northern kingdom of Israel, Ephraim, and the other tribes that follow Ephraim, the northern kingdom of Israel. Read on.
And I will not be your
So
God.
God cut them off. He said, you would not be my people. I would not be your God. But read on.
Verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel.
So once again, it's showing you that the people that he said would not be his people, nevertheless, is talking about the children of Israel. Read on.
Yet shall the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them,
It was said unto them, who is the them? The children of Israel. In the place that it was said unto the children of Israel, read.
ye are not my people.
Who did God say was not his people? The children of Israel.
Right.
The northern kingdom in particular. God said, in that place, though, in which it was said unto you that ye are not my people, read.
There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
Right. So when you examine the history of the scriptures, Judah, they stuck with the law of sacrifice, the priesthood, and all of that. It was like they never left God. But the northern kingdom, Israel, was cut off, you know what I'm saying, for over 600 years. So once Christ came on the scene, and especially with his apostles after, when they were sent to the northern kingdom, what did they do? That provoked them to jealousy. Dang, we done been all these years. We had Ezra and Zerubbabel and Malachi and the Maccabees and all of that. We done put in all this work. And now all of a sudden, they good to come back home.
They can come back.
The hell is this? Yes, that was the nation who was not a people that God said he would provoke us to jealousy with. Our brothers and sisters that was broken off for a dispensation of time. So now let's go back to Deuteronomy 32:22.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 22. For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains.
Read.
I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spin mine arrows upon them.
So God said he going to heap mischiefs upon us, send arrows upon them. Read on.
They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with bitter destruction.
Read.
I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them.
Right. You ever seen them videos, them clips of the civil rights movement when we was rallying and marching, and they'll send them canines after us and to rip into us with their teeth? That's of God. That was a fulfillment of prophecy. God said he would send the teeth of wild beasts against us. Read.
With the poison of serpents of the dust,
Read.
the sword without, and terror within, shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs.
Right. So when you read through the scriptures, the sword, yes, it's going into the other nations, going into destruction, but it goes into famine and drought as well.
Right.
God said, I'm going to destroy your food sources. Y'all going to starve to death. And the ones that survive going to be killed off by the enemy. That's prophecy that had to happen against us. that served idols, that served other gods. Read on.
Verse 26, I said, I would scatter them into corners.
I would do what?
I would scatter them into corners.
Read.
I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men.
So when it says he would scatter us into corners, is it saying that he gonna scatter us into the corners of Jerusalem or into the corners of the temple? You know what I'm saying? What are the corners that he said he would scatter us to? Now this is further proof of who the children of Israel are. Hold there, go to Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 12. This is a precept to understand what the corners in which we were scattered to. Now this future prophecy, you know what I'm saying, that we waiting on to happen. Read what you got.
Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 12.
Come on.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations.
Read.
And shall assemble the outcasts of Israel.
The outcasts of Israel. Read.
And gather together the dispersed of Judah.
The dispersed or scattered of Judah. Read on.
From the four corners of the earth.
From the four what?
Corners of the earth.
So when God said he would scatter us into corners, he was referring to the four corners of the earth. What nation of people, or how has a nation of people been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth? I think like the transatlantic slave trade, right? Maybe the sub-Saharan slave trade as well. Silk Road slave trade. Slave trades.
Right.
Who was on them damn slave boats in the slave trades? So-called blacks. And guess who owned the slaves? You fake Jews.
Right.
That are not the damn Jews, because this did not happen to you ever. Show me when the white people were scattered into the four corners of the earth via slave ship. When did that happen?
I don't know, officer.
Okay. From there, let's go to Psalms 83 and verse 4. So when we get scattered to these nations, remember he said he will make the remembrance of us to cease from among men. To an extent. Watch this. Read what you got.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 4.
Come on.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
So the nations in which we were scattered to, they come together. They have a council in order to remain over us. And this is one of the main points that they try to accomplish. They said, let us cut them off from being a nation. Meaning, let's separate them. Let's divide them. Let's teach them that they're not who they really are.
Right.
And turn them against each other. Read on.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
If I get them to be so valiant to call themselves Mexican, I'm a proud Mexican. I'm a proud Latino. Vato, I'm a proud black man.
Right.
Black power. If I get them to take pride in that nonsense bywords that I put up on them, that they will never ever remember that they Israel. That's the crafty counsel of the nations. But remember, scriptures say God would disappoint their counsel. Right? Go back to Deuteronomy 32, verse 27.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 27.
Uh-huh.
Were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely,
Read.
and lest they should say, our hand is high, and the Lord hath not done all this.
So that's why I said to an extent. That's why we are starting to remember who we are this day. You know, the remembrance hasn't completely ceased because the enemy will be lifted up in their mind, and they would think that they accomplished the complete utter destruction mentally and spiritually of the Israelites. God said, nah, I'm going to disappoint they crafty counsels.
Right.
You know, after a certain amount of time, I'm going to start waking them up after I have scattered them throughout the four corners of the earth. Read on.
Verse 28, for they are a nation void of counsel.
Read.
Neither is there any understanding in them.
So God said we are a nation void of counsel. Read on.
Verse 29, oh, that they were wise, that they understood this.
God said, oh, I wish that they was wise, that they would consider this. If somebody tell you, Ezekiel, somebody tell you in 5 years, if you don't make it to work on time,
That day.
tomorrow
Okay.
at 7 a.m., 5 years from now, you gonna get locked. You gonna be in solitary confinement for the rest of your life in jail,
For
right?
not showing up to work.
For not showing up to work on
tomorrow.
time.
Yeah.
How many alarms would you set, bruh?
I
Would you
wouldn't
even go to sleep?
Yeah, I wouldn't even go to sleep.
You know what I'm saying? You'll drink probably 7 5-hour energy drinks.
Right.
Make sure you make it to work on time. But we, as a nation of people, our forefathers, did not have that wisdom. He was telling us all these atrocities, all these evil things that would happen, and we still didn't consider it. We said, sounds good. Anyway, serve my idol. Smash my brother's wife.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Read on.
Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end.
God said he wished he was wise so we would consider our latter end. Read on.
How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them and the Lord had shut them up?
Right. How would we be able to be conquered the way we were unless it was the Lord? Right. You know what I'm saying? That allowed it to happen. You got to think, bro. I could never imagine letting a white boy whoop me, let alone, you know what I'm saying, 10 white boys round up thousands of me and my brothers. How in the hell could that happen? It had to be the Lord. Had to. Read on.
For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges.
Read.
For their vine is of the vine of Sodom.
God said our vine is of the vine of Sodom. Read.
And of the fields of Gomorrah.
Right. That's why you got, young MAs. That's why you got the LGBT, the black pride. And it ain't talking about being proud that you black. It's talking about gay pride. You know what I'm saying? Amongst black people. Why do you have these things? Because God said our vine is as the vine of Sodom. Read on.
Their grapes are grapes of gall.
Read.
Their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons and the cruel venom of asps.
Read.
Is not this laid up in store with me and sealed up among my treasures?
In these prophecies, these scriptures that we read on.
To me belongeth vengeance.
So now it's going into how the Lord will eventually deliver us. After he let these punishments happen, after he let these nations deceive and oppress for so long, God said, I'm going to show y'all, you know what I'm saying, who God really is. But I got to let y'all humiliate yourselves first by serving all them false gods. Watch, read on.
To me belongeth vengeance and recompense.
Read.
Their foot shall slide in due time. For the day of their calamity is at hand.
Read.
And the things that shall come upon them make haste.
Come on.
For the Lord shall judge his people.
The Lord shall judge his people. Read.
And repent himself for his servants.
And the Lord is going to repent himself, meaning he going to change his mind. Instead of inflicting wrath upon us, eventually he going to save us. Read on.
When he seeth that their power is gone.
As he see that our power is gone. When he see that we have fallen to our lowest estate possible. Read on.
And there is none shut up or left. And he shall say, where are their gods?
God's going to say, where they gods at?
Right.
Read on.
Their rock in whom they trusted.
Right. Where is the rock, the cobblestone now? You know what I'm saying? Where is Cedric Bourget now?
Right.
Now that you being shot down in the street, now that you being raped, lynched, you know what I'm saying? Now that you being locked up in cages by ICE. Now, where's the white Virgin Mary now? Santa Maria. Where's she at now? Go to Jeremiah 2:27. Jeremiah 2:27. So God, that's how he had to let it play out. He had to, over a span of time, allow our enemies to afflict us and persecute us just to see that the gods that we went off to worship before we were being persecuted was not real gods.
Right.
Because they will not help you when the Lord sent your enemy against you. Read what you got.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 2 and verse 27.
Come on.
Saying to a stock, thou art my father.
Read.
And to a stone, thou hast brought me forth.
That's Israel, especially the ones in the nation of Islam. That's what they do. They say that a stone has brought them forth. Read.
For they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble.
But when the white man got their knee in their neck, read.
They will say, arise and save us.
Now you want to call out to the Most High God. Now you want to seek the God of Israel.
Right.
Read on.
Verse 28. But where are thy gods that thou hast made
Where
thee?
your guys that you done made up? Where they at? Read on.
Let them arise, if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble.
Right. Let that cross you got on save you from this persecution, this oppression. Let Islam save you. Let Buddha save you. Tell him get his fat behind up and come save black folks. Since you want to woo-side and pray to him, read on.
For according to the number of thy cities are thy gods,
Right.
O Judah.
So that's going into like how everywhere you go in a black community, you'll see damn near 3-4 churches on one block.
Right.
That's how heavy we went into idolatry to this day. So from there, go back to Deuteronomy 32, verse 39.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 39.
Uh-huh.
See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me.
Read.
I wound and I heal.
Now I kill.
Oh, I'm sorry. I kill and I make alive.
God said, look, now you're going to see that I am the true God. I kill. A damn statue that you make with your hands can't kill a damn thing. Unless somebody pick it up and, knock somebody upside the head with it. Them fake guys can't kill nothing. I am he. I kill. I make alive. Read.
I wound and I heal.
Read.
Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
Right. So that's the God. That's the terrible God that we serve.
Right.
That one. That's the God of black people. You wonder where they God been at all these years since they been catching hell. Hey, he hid his face from them for their disobedience.
Yep.
But hey, once they turn back to him, you don't want to see that. Hey, you didn't touch the apple of his eye. It's too late now. It's going down. Once his people get back on this good side, it's going down. Read on.
Verse 40. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever.
Right. So this finna go into what I was saying. The Lord gonna eventually kick back, and turn back to save us. He gonna stop hiding his face and come to our defense and save us. Watch this, read.
If I whet my glittering sword and mine hand take hold on judgment,
Read.
I will render vengeance to mine enemies and will reward them that hate me.
Come on.
I will make mine arrows drunk with blood.
I will do what?
Make mine arrows drunk with blood.
Read.
And my sword shall devour flesh.
Read.
And that with the blood of the slain and of the captives.
Of the who?
Of the captives.
Of the who?
Of the captives.
Read.
From the beginning of revenges upon the enemy.
So God said he gonna take revenge for the captives. Because that's who he's the God of. The people that been in captivity over and over and over again. Guess what? Their God is that God that is very violent. And he said he'll drown, he'll make his arrows drunk with blood. So all you nations that didn't touch the apple of his eye, that's what you got coming. You know what's crazy, bro? In church, they never read stuff like this.
Never.
I never knew that God was violent.
Right.
That's Satan. That's the devil.
Right.
You see, that show you what they really think about your God. You see what I'm saying? For real. What? Read on.
Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people.
Come on.
For he will avenge the blood of his servants.
God said he's going to avenge the blood of his servants that your oppressor has shed. Read.
And will render vengeance to his adversaries. And will be merciful unto his land and to his people.
And to his people. From there, hold there, go to 2 Ezra 15 and verse 8. God said, I will avenge the blood of my servants. You got to think. You could read in this Bible, you could read about, you know what I'm saying, Christ being put to death. Peter being put to death. No, not Peter. James being, even though Peter was put to death too.
Right.
But James put to death in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? All of these mighty men, these prophets that was put to death. And guess what? Since the Bible has been written, there has been more prophets that have been put to death, that their blood needs to be avenged. And it's going to continue to happen. Guess what? You brothers standing strong and bold in purple and gold. Hey, one day, I'm telling you, that trial going to come. For real, our blood is going to be shed for this truth. Read what you got.
The book of 2 Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 8.
Come on.
I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness,
Read.
which they profanely commit.
Read.
Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me.
So God said, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me. Read.
And the souls of the just complain continually.
The souls of the just that haven't been avenged yet, that lost their life for my sake, they complaining. Continue. Lord, when you gonna do something about this? When you gonna do your thing, Lord? When you gonna make your arrows drunk with blood? Read on.
Verse 9. And therefore, saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them.
God said, I got y'all. Don't worry. I got it. I got them. I got them. God, don't worry. I will surely avenge them. Read.
I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them.
Let's get Revelation 18, verse 20. So this right here is going to be fulfilled in the destruction of Babylon. That's what Revelation, the 18th chapter, is talking about. Read what you got.
Revelation chapter 18 and verse 20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven.
Rejoice over destroyed Babylon. Read on.
And ye holy apostles and prophets.
You holy apostles and prophets. That's the souls of the just that have been complaining continually. Lord, when you going to take vengeance? Read on.
For God hath avenged you on her.
God hath avenged you on her. Who is the her? Babylon the Great, the United States of America.
Right.
That's where the Lord gonna make his arrows drunk with blood. That when we meet our Savior, how we gonna meet him? You'll be like, damn, this brother been tap dancing in wine or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For real, that's how you gonna meet your Lord and Savior. That's the vengeance that we got promised to come for us. You know, for all the wrongdoing and all that these nations have done unto us. That's the vengeance promised by the Lord. Let's go back now.
Yes, sir.
Deuteronomy 32:44.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 44.
Come on.
And Moses came and spake all the words of this song in the ears of the people, he and Joshua the son of Nun. And Moses made an end of speaking all these words to all Israel. And he said unto them, set your hearts unto all the words which I testify among you this day, which ye shall command your children to observe to do, all the words of this law. For it is not a vain thing for you, because it is your life.
It is what?
It is your life.
God said the words of this law is not a vain thing. This ain't something that's just to be written to just have on your dashboard or to have in your cabinet. No, this is your life. This is your life. You know, you got millennials talking about ball is life.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Bible is life.
Right. Bible is life. That's what God is saying. This is your life. And it's heavy. This a real heavy self-examination type of thing for brothers and sisters that don't study. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is your life. This is your life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're not reading it, then you're not living.
No.
Read on.
And through this thing ye shall prolong your days in the land.
Right. Through this thing. Through this thing right here. That's how you going to prolong your days. Not just being a vegan. Not just exercising every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Taking herbs. No. This thing is how you going to prolong your days. Read on.
Whither ye go over Jordan to possess it.
Come on.
And the Lord spake unto Moses the selfsame day, saying, get thee up into this mountain Abiram, unto Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, that is over against Jericho. And behold, the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel for a possession.
Right, so this is God, telling Moses to get up into this mountain and take a good look at the promised land. Because you ain't going to get to go into it. You're going to die in that mountain, right?
And die in the mount whither ye goest up, and be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron thy brother died in the Mount Hor, and was gathered unto his people, because he trespassed against me among the children of Israel at the waters of Meribah Kadesh. in the wilderness of Zin,
Read.
because ye sanctify me not in the midst of the children of Israel.
Right, so you can read about that in Numbers, the 28th chapter. I remember when we did Deuteronomy 1, we had recapped that and went to it. So just go back and watch them, or just go read it on your own if you haven't. Numbers chapter 20 is when Moses. Let's get a precept just to sum up what happened. Psalms 106 and verse 32. When Moses fell short. Psalms 106, verse 32.
Psalms chapter 106 and verse 32. They angered him also at the waters of strife.
Right. Once again, complaining and thirst, threatening to go back into Egypt and acting like, Moses took them to die in the wilderness. It really pissed him off because they had been there, done it at that point. Like, why the hell is y'all still tweaking? They angered Moses, read.
So that it went ill with Moses for their sakes.
He ended up going ill with Moses, meaning what? He was going to have to die in that mountain. He wasn't going to make it to the promised land. Read.
Verse 33. Because they provoked his spirit.
Because they did what?
They provoked his spirit.
They provoked Moses' spirit. Read.
So that he spake unadvisedly with his lips.
He spake unadvisedly with his lips. Remember, he was like, see now, ye rebels. Right. You want somebody to just rock her in. When God said, hey, bro, speak unto the rock. Hey, he got riled up. He got out the damn spirit and hit the rock twice. And we read what that rock was really earlier. From there, let's go back now. Deuteronomy chapter. What time is it, bro? 4:15. Damn, we don't got no. Wow. We don't got a lot of time at all. All right. Deuteronomy 33, verse 1. Come on.
Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 1. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death.
So this chapter is prophetic concerning who would the tribes be in the last days. It's giving blessings that pertain to where you can go and examine their history and say, okay, that's the tribe of such and such. So we ain't going to be able to go into detail and break it down precept upon precept, but Lord's willing, y'all get some understanding. All right, read on.
And he said, the Lord came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth the mount from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000 of saints. From his right hand went a fiery law from them.
Read.
Yea, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at thy feet. Every one shall receive of thy words.
Read.
Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob.
So that's our inheritance, the laws of God. Read on.
And he was king in Jeshurun, when the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel were gathered together.
All right, so here go the prophecies, starting with Reuben. All right, watch this. Read.
Verse 6. Let Reuben live and not die, and let not his men be few.
Right, so why is that saying? Well, let Reuben live and not die. Because in history, you had Andrew Jackson, they implemented the Indian removal campaign. He was the main enemy trying to exterminate the Seminole Indians. All right, so they slaughtered a lot of them, but they were not able to kill them all. That's why God said, let Reuben live and not die. They tried it,
right,
but that was not fully successful. All right, read on.
Verse 7. And this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, hear, Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and be thou an help to him from his enemies.
So it says, hear, Lord, the voice of Judah. Damn, I didn't bust it there. My bad. Bring him unto his people. Let's get that in Zechariah real quick. What that's talking about? Just think about it, guys. Say you were a Levite, or say you were Asherite. Say you were a Zebulunite, right? How did you learn about this truth? How did you eventually come into the knowledge of who you were? Let's see, read what you got.
Zechariah chapter
12, verse
12 and verse 7. And the Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first.
So God, remember, it said that we will be scattered into the four corners of the earth. The nations would conspire that we not remember who we are. God said, you know what? I'm going to wake up Judah first. Judah, the blacks in America, going to be the first ones to remember that they are the Israelites. That's why he said, bring him to his people. Once Judah learn who they are, they going to go and teach the other tribes that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. That's why Judah at the forefront of the international prophets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's prophecy. That's why God said, be thou in help from his enemies. Because, hey, the gates of hell will try to prevail against us in our quest to wake up the 12 tribes. But God said he going to be a help to us, to the tribe of Judah, to, fulfill that mission of waking up the other tribes. Deuteronomy 33 and 8, 9.
Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 8.
Uh-huh.
And of Levi he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One.
Right, so the Urim and Thummim, I remember I covered that in the 4 chapters I did as well. I think Exodus 26 through 29. In chapter 28 specifically, it goes into the Urim and the Thummim that the high priest had to wear in his garment. All right, that pertains to the Levites. That was the lineage of Aaron. All right, read on.
Whom thou didst prove at Massa, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah.
Right, that's referring to Exodus the 17th chapter. Read.
Who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him.
Uh-huh.
Neither did he acknowledge his brethren,
Read.
nor knew his own children, for they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant.
So what is this talking about? He said to his father and his mother, I have not seen him, neither acknowledged his brethren. Excuse me, go to Exodus 32, verse 26. It's talking about the zeal that they had for the Lord. Out of all of the tribes that was going off and committing idolatry in this particular event, Levi was the only one that chose to be on the Lord's side. Read what you got.
The book of Exodus, chapter 32, verse 26.
Come on.
Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, who is on the Lord's side?
Who is on the Lord's side? Read.
Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together
So
unto him.
the only tribe that wanted to be on the Lord's side was Levi. Read on.
Verse 27. And he said unto them, thus saith the Lord God of Israel,
Come on.
put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother,
Slay every man his brother. Read.
and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor.
And every man his companion and neighbor. Read on.
And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses.
And that's exactly what they did. They suited and booted and didn't hesitate. They was about that action. That's why Moses said, hey, they didn't see father, mother. They didn't acknowledge their brethren because that's the zeal that they had for serving the Lord. Read on.
And there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men.
So now let's go back to Deuteronomy. That shows Levi's devotion for the covenant of the Lord. Deuteronomy 33 and 10.
Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 10.
Come on.
They shall teach Jacob thy judgments, and Israel thy law. They shall put incense before thee, and hold burnt sacrifice upon thine altar.
That's right. So that's going into the office that God gave Levi in particular, the high priest. Let's get there real quick. Sirach 45, verse 16. Sirach 45, verse 16.
The book of Sirach, chapter 45 and verse 16.
Come on.
He chose him out of all men living to offer sacrifices to the Lord, incense and a sweet savor, for a memorial, to make reconciliation for his people.
Right. So this going into, like I said, Aaron the high priest, but it pertains to his lineage as well, which were Levites. He said that they were chosen to sacrifice to the Lord, make incense, and to make reconciliation for the Israelites. Read on.
Verse 17, he gave unto him his commandments and authority in the statutes of judgments, that he should teach Jacob the testimonies and inform Israel in his laws.
Right, so Levi was given that lot. That's why they didn't have no their own land. They was, amongst all the tribes of Israel, because they had to be responsible for making the sacrifices and teaching the laws to the people. Let's go back, Deuteronomy 33 and 11.
Deuteronomy 33 and 11. Bless, Lord, his substance.
Right, his substance is going into the tithes that Levi will receive. Read.
And accept the work of his hands.
The work of his hands is going into the free will offerings that they will bring forth to the Lord. Read.
Smite through the loins of them that rise against him,
Do what?
Smite through the loins of them that rise against him.
Let's see if I can pronounce this brother name right. Toussaint Louverture.
Oh, yeah.
One of the men that led the Haitian Revolution.
Yep.
You know, they had smoke through the loins of them that hated them. That's exactly what they did. Levi was about that life. I don't think Judah never did it to that magnitude. You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you, hey, don't play with Levi now. Read on.
And of them that hate him,
Go ahead.
that they rise not again.
So that's ultimately going to be fulfilled when Christ returns. But read on.
Verse 12. And of Benjamin he said.
And of who?
Of Benjamin he said.
Read.
The beloved of the Lord shall dwell in safety by him.
Right, he going to dwell in safety, meaning he not going to die off. He not going to get killed off in slavery. Read.
And the Lord shall cover him all the day long.
The Lord shall cover him all the day long, going into the good weather that they have, the good land. Read.
And he shall dwell between his shoulders.
He shall dwell between his shoulders. That represents the skies and the earth. All right, that's between the shoulders of the Lord. It's going into the good climate and the good land they're going to have. Read.
And of Joseph he said, blessed of the Lord be his land. For the precious things of heaven, for the dew, and for the deep that coucheth beneath. And
so it says, blessed be the Lord. Blessed of the Lord be his land. Joseph is talking about Ephraim and Manasseh. Joseph was one of the 12 sons of Jacob, but he had 2 sons, and Jacob said, look, I'm going to put my name on these 2. So my grandson's going to make up 2 tribes of Israel. So when we're reading about Joseph, we're reading about Ephraim and Manasseh. All right? So it said, blessed be the Lord, blessed of the Lord be his land for the precious things of heaven. The precious things of heaven is referring to the good weather that they have on their land. Read on.
For the dew and for the deep that coucheth beneath.
Right, the deep that coucheth beneath, going into the seas that they able to, reap the benefits off of. Read.
And for the precious fruits brought forth by the sun.
And for the precious fruits brought forth by the sun. Because in their land, they able to grow the crops, the fruits like mango, papaya, avocado, pineapples, coconut, bananas, sugar. Right. I can't grow that in North Little Rock, in Rose City. I can't grow that over here. You know what I'm saying? That's the blessing that pertains to Ephraim and Manasseh. Read on.
And for the precious things put forth by the moon.
And for the precious things put forth by the moon. It's actually going into a very interesting species of frog called the coqui. I think I'm pronouncing it right. The coqui frog. They only exist in Puerto Rico. All right? They come out at night. They make a very distinct noise when they ribbit or whatever. Read on.
And for the chief things of the ancient mountains.
So the chief things of the ancient mountains is going into the diamonds, gold, and silver. Is that Puerto riches, exactly. Read on.
And for the precious things of the lasting hills.
Right, the things that come out of the lasting hills for them are coffee beans. All right, that's one of the things that come out of the lasting hills for them. Read.
And for the precious things of the earth and fullness thereof. And for the goodwill of him that dwelt in the bush. Let the blessings come upon the head of Joseph and upon the top of the head of him that was separated from his brethren.
So hold that. Go to Hosea chapter 12, verse 8. Because you said something, right? What do Puerto Rico mean? You notice I'm trying to say it with a little Puerto Rico. I can't do it. Hosea chapter 12, verse 8. That's why I be struggling, man, trying to learn Spanish, because I cannot roll my tongue good. Puerto Rico. Read what you got.
Hosea chapter 12 and verse 8.
Come on.
And Ephraim said, yet I am become rich.
Yeah, I am become what?
Become rich.
I am become rich. Hence the name Puerto Rico, port of riches. Read.
I have found me out substance. And all my labors, they shall find none iniquity in me that were sin.
But they became prideful as well. Just like we read earlier, they waxed fat. All right, let's go back to Deuteronomy 32, verse 17 now.
Deuteronomy 33, verse 17. His glory is like the firstling of his bullock.
Right, like when you read Exodus 13 about separate the firstborn unto me. That's the glory of them. Because remember, he gave a birthright to them. Read on.
And his horns are like the horns of unicorns.
Right, his horns, the horns, you know, like two horns. You got Ephraim, you got Manasseh. Read.
Are like the horns of unicorns. With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth.
So God used Ephraim and Manasseh to be the leaders to push the 10 tribes over to this side of the world.
Right.
Like when you read 2 Ezra 13 and 40, then you know who was calling shots.
Right.
Ephraim and Manasseh. They pushed the people unto this end of the earth. Read.
And they are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh.
So go to Genesis 48:16. Let's see where these thousands and 10,000s of Ephraim and Manasseh would dwell. Read what you got.
The book of Genesis, chapter 48 and verse 16.
Come on.
The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads,
Read.
and let thy name be named on them.
Right. Let Jacob's name be named upon them. Read.
And the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude
Let Ephraim and Manasseh grow into a multitude where?
in the midst of the earth.
In Central America. You see that? God get real geographic with it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They going to grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. You know what I'm saying? They went from the east to the west, and they dwell in the midst of the hemisphere. All right, let's go back. Verse 18.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 18. And of Zebulun he said, rejoice, Zebulun, in thy going out, and Issachar in thy tents.
Right, so notice his grouping, you know, Zebulun and Issachar together. You know, it said that Issachar would dwell in Zebulun tents, meaning they would live very close. That's why they had cities like at the borders where, you know, Zebulun will go and link up with Issachar. Some names of those cities, I probably ain't going to pronounce them right, but I'm going to try. Teotihuacan, Tocana,
Okay.
Palenque,
Okay.
Tres Zapotes,
All right.
and etc. That's them the only ones I'm going to try right there. All right, and when they linked up, you know, keep reading.
Verse 19. They shall call the people
The they is Issachar. The people is Zebulun. So Issachar shall call Zebulun, read.
unto the mountain. There they shall offer sacrifices of righteousness.
Right, so they was going to link up to make sacrifices. All right, now, in the promised land, it was sacrifices of righteousness. But when they linked up as the Aztecs and the Mayans,
Oh, man.
you know what I'm saying, they erected pyramids, and they eventually went the hell off and sacrificed to other gods. All right, read on.
For they shall suck of the abundance of the seas, and
Right,
of
so the sacrifices became stuff like human flesh and things of that nature. You'll read about that in Hosea, the 8th chapter, verses 13 and 14. So now it says that they would do what? Suck up the abundance?
for they shall suck of the abundance of the seas,
Going into the fish, read.
and of treasures hid in the sand.
Right, going into the gold and silver that you would discover in their land. That's why the conquistadors were so, you know, happy that they stumbled up on that land. From there, go to, keep reading.
Verse 20. And of Gad he said, blessed be he that enlargeth Gad.
Blessed be he that enlargeth Gad. The tribe of Gad alone has over 300 Indian tribes in itself.
Right.
It's a very large tribe. Read on.
He dwelleth as a lion.
Right, as a predator. That's how Gad was. They didn't play. Read on.
He teareth the arm with the crown of the head.
He teareth the arm with the crown of the head, going into the blood brother pact that they were known for making. So usually it'll be the man that wear the crown of the feathers, the chief or whatever in the tribe, to get you to tear your arm to make that pact to be accepted into their tribe. All right, read on.
And he provided the first part for himself.
Right, that's talking about North America, who Christopher Columbus called the mainland. Why? Because it was the best. It was the largest. Read on.
Because there in a portion of the lawgiver was he seated.
Right, the tribe of Gad served as the lawgivers for the northern kingdom. Read.
And he came with the heads of the people. He executed.
Right, he came. That's how you know. You know what I'm saying? That travel, what's the word? The quest that they made to this side of the earth.
Right.
it was dealing with Ephraim, Manasseh, and Gad, so-called Hispanics and Indians. He said he would come with the heads of the people. The heads was Ephraim and Manasseh, the horns. Read.
He executed the justice of the Lord and his judgments with Israel.
Right, before he went off. All right, keep reading.
And of Dan, he said.
Of who?
Of Dan,
Right,
he
we
said.
got a mighty Danite over there at the IT booth. Josiah
He
Ben
won't admit it.
Bawashai.
Right.
All right. Dan. Hey, what time is it, bro? We got 4:30. Okay, I'll praise it. So it say, Dan shall what? Dan is a what?
And of Dan, he said. Dan is a lion's whelp.
Dan is a lion's whelp, meaning they are very warlike people. The Carib Indians, they was very warlike. They didn't play, read.
He shall leap from Bashan.
He shall do what?
Leap from Bashan.
So I know this is a very short verse and it doesn't say much per se, but it says a lot. It says he shall leap from Bashan. Now, when you think about Bashan geographically on the other side of the world, it was in the most northern part of Israel. So if they left from Bashan, then ideally they would land in the middle of all Israel. Hence is why Dan today is not their own tribe, but they are absorbed into all the other tribes. Let's get that in Amos chapter 8. Just to bag that up real quick. Also, Bashan means fertile land. Remember, the tribe of Dan will be considered to be the people that dwell in the Caribbeans, along with Benjamin. Read what you got.
Amos chapter 8 and verse 14.
Come on.
They that swear by the sin of Samaria and say, thy God, O Dan, liveth.
Read.
And the manner of Beersheba liveth.
Come on.
Even they shall fall and never rise again.
So God said Dan will fall, they will leap, but they would never rise again as a tribe. That's why in Revelations, the 7th chapter, about the 12 tribes, the 144,000, they're not mentioned because they're absorbed into all the other tribes, primarily Benjamin. All right? They dwell in that, like in Genesis 49, like an adder, by the way, how them islands is shaped geographically like a snake. That's where Dan primarily at. All right? From there, go back, Genesis 33 and 23.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy 33 and 23.
Come on.
And of Naphtali, he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with favor.
Right. So Naphtali is Argentina and Chile of today, right? It says they're satisfied with favor. That's going into the grapes that they're able to produce in their land for wine and coffee beans as well. Read on.
And full with the blessing of the Lord.
Right. The full with blessing is going into how their land is rich with agriculture and cattle. Read.
Possess thou the west and the south.
God is getting geographic again. Now, I really want y'all to pull up a map, but we ain't got time. But when you look at a map and you look at, the world, what land do you see in the southwest region of the world? Argentina and Chile. You see what I'm saying? Hey, y'all better stop playing with the prophets, man. We know who we be.
Right.
All right? God said they will possess the west and the south, meaning the southwestern region of the earth, Argentina and Chile. Read on.
And of Asher.
And of who?
Of Asher.
I ain't gonna lie, I was asleep on Asher, bro, until I started to read up on their history. They was a mighty tribe.
Facts.
For real. Read on.
And of Asher he said, let Asher be blessed with children.
Let Asher be blessed with children. So Asher is also a large tribe because the countries that make up Asher today consist of Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Uruguay, all that. So when you look at Brazil in particular, it says he shall be blessed with children. Brazil has the largest population of children in the world. Read on.
Let him be acceptable to his brethren.
Let him be acceptable because for a while, after a period of time, they became very barbaric. They had a very jungle-like culture. They was running around like Tarzan. Woo, woo. They wasn't acceptable in the sight of their brethren. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
And let him dip his foot in oil.
Let him do what?
Dip his foot in oil.
So when you examine, one of the largest outputs, matter of fact, the largest output of crude oil resources is Colombia. All right? Read on.
verse 25. Thy shoes shall be iron and brass.
So where your feet step on, where you live at, your feet shall be iron and brass. When you look up the Hebrew word for iron, it is barazal. Say that fast, barazal.
Barazal.
Brazil. Brazil, talking about Brazil. All right, going into the all the different mineral resources and all that would be in that land, like iron, copper, zinc, all of that, right? Read on.
And as thy days, so shall thy strength be. There is none like unto the God of Jeshurun.
Right, so we went through, we got through all that, all praises. Hey, Lord's willing, man. Hey, man, we gotta, some chapters you can't just do with 3 other ones within a 2-hour space.
Right.
I wish we had more time to go pull up articles and videos and all that, but Lord's willing, y'all got edified and was able to see how Deuteronomy 33 explains who the tribes are today geographically. All right? Read on.
Who rideth upon the heaven in thy help.
Read.
And in his excellency on the sky.
Read.
The eternal God is thy refuge. And underneath are the everlasting arms.
Read.
And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them.
Read.
Israel then shall dwell in the safety alone, in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also his heavens shall drop down dew.
So notice how the song evolved. You know what I'm saying? Remember, we would provoke God to jealousy, and he'll provoke us to jealousy, so on and so forth. We'll be serving idols. We'll be getting punished. Teeth of wild beasts will come upon us, so on and so forth. Now it's going into our salvation. How God will be our refuge. Read on.
Verse 29.
Come on.
Happy art thou, O Israel,
Read.
who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord.
Oh, people saved by the Lord. Read.
The shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency.
Read.
And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee.
Right, Bishop Nathaniel love to pull this scripture because after all these years, the crafty counsel, you're African American, Jesus is white, the Jews are white, everybody is white, you a nigga, that's it. After all these years, God said, your enemies shall be found liars.
That's right.
They the damn devil, and you the guys of the earth. Read on.
And thou shalt tread upon their high places.
So let's get a precept for that. 2 Maccabees 15, verse 10. One thing, that's why God said, never trust your enemy. Your enemy will do everything in their power to keep you oppressed and subject unto them, including lie to you about your history. That's why he said, hey, after so long, you know what I'm saying, y'all gonna learn and y'all gonna see that y'all enemies have been liars this whole time. Read what you got.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 15 and verse 10.
Come on.
And when he had stirred up their minds,
Read.
he gave them their charge.
Read.
And showing them therewithal the falsehood of the heathen.
The what?
The falsehood of the heathen.
So our forefathers showed the Israelites the falsehood of the heathen, just like we do every Sabbath.
Right.
Especially since all the Nick
Really
Cannon
7
stuff.
days a week.
Right, every damn day.
Right.
But especially since the Nick Cannon stuff then popped off and all of that, we really, leadership be going in.
Facts.
We are the real Jews. Don't matter what all they send out in that flood to keep us sleep and rock us to sleep. We are the real Jews. The enemies, they are nothing but liars, spreading falsehood, period. Read on.
And the breach of oaths.
Going into all the covenants and treaties that they broke with our people. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 34. How much time I got, bro? What time is it? Hey, let's fly through this chapter real quick. Deuteronomy 34. Read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 34 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And Moses went up from the plains of Moab unto the mountain of Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho.
Read.
And the Lord showed him all the land of Gilead, unto Dan, and all Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the land of Judah unto the utmost sea, and the south unto the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, unto Zoar. Verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, this is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, saying, I will give it unto thy seed. I will I have caused thee to see it with thine eyes, but thou shalt not go over thither.
Moses, you can see it, but you can't go into it. Read.
Verse 5. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor. But no man knoweth of his sepulchre unto this day.
So don't go trying to find it. Read on.
And Moses was 120 years old when he died.
Come on.
His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated.
Nor his natural force abated, meaning he wasn't weak and old and sickly and like when somebody about to drop dead.
Right.
Nah, he was straight. He was good. Hey, it was just he couldn't go into the promised land. He had to go on and check out.
Right.
Read on.
Verse 8. And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning for Moses were ended.
Come on.
And Joshua, the son of Nun, was full of the spirit of wisdom. For Moses had laid his hands upon him.
Right, that was Moses' protege.
Right.
So Moses laid his hand upon him. Joshua had the spirit that Moses had, a great leader, compassionate for the people. Read.
And the children of Israel hearkened unto him, and did as the Lord commanded Moses.
Read.
And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face.
You know what's heavy about what we just read? Because it's a doctrine. The Old Testament Israelites, they say that Joshua was Deuteronomy 18 and 18. Joshua was the prophet that would arise like unto himself.
Saying Christ.
He just, where they saying ain't no Christ. It's just Joshua.
Okay.
But it says, it acknowledged Joshua rose up with the spirit on him and all that. But there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses. So Joshua was not that prophet that Moses said it would come a prophet like unto me. He wasn't it. He didn't fit that. He was a mighty prophet nonetheless, but he did not fit that. Christ did. All right? That's another class, though. But read on.
Verse 11. And all the signs and the wonders which the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh, and to all his servants, and to all his land.
Come on.
And in all that mighty hand, and in all the great terror which Moses showed in the sight of all Israel.
All praises, we made it. We are done with the Torah. All right? I want to say it with a Hebrew tang, but I don't know how to do that type of stuff, accents and stuff. Torah. Okay, look, you bumbow shot.
Right.
All right. So yes, so we done with the Torah. All right. Lord's willing, Monday we start on the book of Joshua. Very, very. I remember when I first came, when we joined Memphis camp, we had to do tests on Joshua. So that's one of the books very favored by our fathers. All right. Shalom, Most High in Christ.
Shalom, Most High in Christ.